Well, hello everyone, this is Mr. Tom again with another video for you. This week I'm back in the discovery room. Now, we had quite a bit of rain this morning, and if you've ever noticed, if you go outside in your yard or in a garden after a big rain like we had, you start smelling some things. It smells kind of earthy out there. What you're smelling is the soil. You might even smell some of the leaves. You also start seeing some different things that you wouldn't normally see on a dry day if you take a close look. So this week we're going to be talking about decomposers, and as you might be able to tell, it's going to be a pretty messy this week. It's pretty fun. We are going to learn about the different kinds of things that can decompose grass and wood and all kinds of things. It's pretty fun, pretty dirty. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about a decomposer. What is a decomposer? I'm sure you've seen them before, actually. You just maybe didn't know what they were. So a decomposer is any living thing that breaks something down. Like, for example, if you've ever been to the discovery room here and you've seen our Madagascar hissing cockroaches, those animals actually are decomposers because what they do is they eat rotting fruits that fall off of trees in their native habitat of Madagascar. And because they eat those rotting things, they're kind of like a cleanup crew. They eat up all the garbage and things that maybe other animals might not want to eat. Also things like fungus. Maybe you've seen some mushrooms growing outside. Maybe you've even been mushroom hunting with your parents. What they do is they break down things like wood. They can also grow on leaves, and then of course you have other little animals like insects that can chew on the leaves, maybe even chew on the wood a little bit. And I'm sure you've seen earthworms. So let's see. Let me show you what I got in here. So remember, it just rained, so this is pretty muddy. I've got some leaves. I've got some little twigs. Also got a wood chip in here. But what I'm trying to find, here we go. You can see that there. This is an earthworm. Earthworms kind of act like decomposers. I also see a little roly-poly in here. So if there are insects and other little things like earthworms and roly-polies, which aren't insects, by the way, but that's for another topic, it's okay to have them in there. That's fine. But what I'm going to do is after I do this experiment, I'm actually going to take them back outside. I'm not going to use all of this mixture here. Anything I don't use, I'm going to take right back outside. I've got leaves here too. Okay, I'm not going to use all of these. Also, I pulled these from the ground. I didn't pull them off a tree. So I didn't pull any sticks or any leaves off of a tree that was living. I pulled everything off the ground. Okay. All right, now let's get into making our craft. Okay, well, let's get started. Let me show you what I've got here. You're going to want 2 plastic bottles for this. 2 liters or even 1 liter would be just fine. I think these are about 1 liter size. And you noticed that I actually cut them into parts. So one bottle, I just cut the bottom off, and so I end up with this. And then the second bottle, what I did was I actually cut out the middle slice. Here, let me go ahead and just show you what that looks like. So this is the middle of that second cup, and I just tossed it aside. I don't need it. You can recycle it, of course. And so what I end up with from that second bottle are the top, where the spout is, and the bottom of the cup. You also might notice that I labeled them. So this one I put a letter A. I just used a Sharpie, marked it on there. This one I labeled B. And this one, of course, is, what is that there? C. So I have A, B, and C. Now you have this on your guide too. So parents, if you're helping your kids out with this, then you can show them the picture. And by the way, I strongly recommend that an adult does this part, especially when you first start making that cut. You might need something really sharp, like a utility knife right here. Okay, and then once you make that incision, and then you can go ahead and cut all the way around it with some scissors here. All right, so this is what we're going to start with. Now I'm going to take that middle part, that big part B here, and we're going to add something to it. This is called cheesecloth. What I did was I cut about a 3" by 3" square. Now take a close look. See, it's got little holes in it. It's kind of like a screen, maybe on a screen door. That's going to let some things through. What you want to do is you want to place your cheesecloth over the spout of your part B, and you want to make sure that's nice and tight on there. So what you want to do is you want to take a rubber band, put it over. See how that rubber band's too big for that? That spout's too small. So here's what you can do. Maybe you can have parents help you for this part. You're going to take it, loop it over like that, pull it back over the top, and make sure this is nice and tight. You want to do that, depending on how big your rubber band is. I'm going to do that one more time. Put it over the top. And then, there you go. You hear that snap, you know it's on there nice and tightly. Okay? Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Okay, now here, getting into the fun part. I've got part A. Part B is going to go over the top of that. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my mixture here. I'm going to start off with some soil. So, oh, here's a chunk right here. Got one of my earthworms in there. I'm just going to place that in there. You can kind of pick and choose what you like to put in there. Make sure you get a mix of stuff. And some sticks in here and twigs. Add some more soil. A little bit more. There's a roly-poly in that one. I'm going to save that leaf. And somewhere in here, oh yeah, here we go. I want to have that big wood chip in there. Okay, maybe just a little bit more soil now on the top. I'm going to top it off with leaves. I'm going to put some leaves in there. Now remember, these are leaves I picked up off the ground. I did not pull these off of any living trees. Okay, just pick them off the ground. There. I think that'll be pretty good right there. Now, we got a lot left over here. I'm going to take that back outside, so I'm not going to use it. All right, now, also, you're going to want to wash your hands after this part. I purposely used just one hand because I want to have one hand clean so I can operate the phone here. All right, let's keep moving on. Okay, so I packed my mixture pretty tight in here, actually right about halfway through. And what you can do is you can take a marker or a crayon and you can mark the level where the top of your mixture of soil and leaves is. All right, but the reason I did that is because I want to have some space to put this last part. Part C, that's going to go over the top. Now, you want to make sure you keep the cap for this bottle. What you're going to do is you are going to screw it on, but you're not going to screw it all the way tight. You want to put it on there so it stays, but you actually want it just a little loose. And the reason for that is we're going to pour water through here. Now I want you to think, when I pour water through here, what's going to happen to it? Remember, this is a little loose, so that means the water is going to leak through into part B here. And once it goes through part B, where do you think it'll go? Will it stay? or will it go down here? Remember, at the bottom of this, we put our cheesecloth, and remember I showed you that cheesecloth. You saw little holes in it. So if the water goes through there, the water is actually going to pass right through the cheesecloth into this bottom. And all the other big stuff, so the leaves, the sticks, and the other pieces of wood that might be in there, they're all going to stay up on top because they're too big to fit through those little spaces. But the water can go right through. All right, so we're going to make a prediction. When I pour water in there, what do you think you're going to see in the bottom? Let's find out. I'm going to take some water. You can go outside and collect rainwater if there's rain, or you can use tap water from the sink, that's fine. This is actually a mix of some rainwater that I collected outside and some tap water. You might not use all of it at once, but what you want to do is you want to pour the water through here. Now let's make a prediction like a scientist. When I pour this water through, what do you think is going to happen? Let's find out. See how it's making it through. Remember, we screwed the cap on there, but not all the way. It wasn't super tight because we wanted the water to actually go through there. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside so it's a little easier for everyone to see. Now, that water is now in part B. Eventually, that water is going to go through down to the bottom, part C, because of that cheesecloth there. You can maybe see it's just a little bit of water there. It's just starting to go through. Now, here's the fun part. What you can do is when all the water is through there, or as much water as will go through there, once it's at the bottom, you can take the bottom and then pour it back into part C again. Do that every few days, maybe a week. Just keep doing it and doing it. Now, as you do it each time, though, you might notice that all your mixture here, your soil and your leaves here, the level might change, okay? So if it's, say, a little further down here, then you're going to make another mark. When you go to do it the next time, check the level again, make another mark, and keep going. Keep going as long as you want. What you should notice is that each time you add that water, might pack things down a little more. You also might notice things breaking down. So the leaves, just observe what happens to the leaves. Observe what happens to the soil, the soil and the sticks and other little twigs that might be in there. You might notice that decomposers are breaking it down. And remember, of course, we have the earthworms. We have roly-polies in there. But you might also notice some fungus. If you've ever heard of a mushroom, maybe you've had mushrooms in a salad before, that's a type of fungus. And fungus is actually a decomposer. It's one of those living things that breaks things down, like soil and leaves and sticks. So, that was pretty fun. A little messy here, as you can see. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next week.